Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water, the 7th season of Australian Survivor on TenPlay, premiered on January 31st, 2002. This season was of course massively hyped, as it featured American Survivor legend Sandra Diaz-Twine coming to Australia to play with her daughter Nina, and after the disappointment of Survivor 41, even casual fans couldn't wait to get more AU Survivor on their screens, especially after the craziness that was Brain vs. Brawn. We are introduced to many characters and their loved ones to open the premiere, followed by the first challenge of the season, consisting of racing down a water slide and attempting to get a ring to the tribe's colored pole. The Water tribe wins reward, and then the players say goodbye to their loved ones as they head to their camps. At Water, Christy admits to not knowing much about the game, but she does end up finding a clue to an idol. This idol would be in front of Jonathan's podium at Tribal Council, but it was only good for one tribal, and there was another clue to this idol at their camp, to which Shay finds, and she shares this info with Brianna. When Water enters the immunity challenge, it's revealed that Alex injured his back on the way to the challenge, and is now in critical condition, thus obviously taking him out of the challenge. Blood ends up winning immunity, sending Water to Tribal. Due to Alex's injury, Andy, a previous contestant from Australian Survivor Champions vs. Contenders 2, throws him under the bus as an easy vote. Andy was determined to play a much cleaner game this time around, as he had played way too hard and sloppy his first time. However, the players couldn't look past Andy's past performance, as Nina especially knew that Andy would likely target her mom in the future, considering he was a superfan, thus making him the target, and established an early majority alliance with Mark. At Tribal, we get a funny scramble for the idol between the 3 ladies that knew about it, but Christy is the one to ultimately find it and play it. But in the end, it's a moot point, as Andy is blindsided in a 9-2-1 vote.
Andy, the tribe has spoken. Happy to go?
Take care, gang.
After the wild scramble for the idol the previous night, combined with Brianna calling Christy weak, the two were now gunning for each other. So, feeling vulnerable, Brianna searched for an idol in front of the entire tribe. Luckily for Brianna, her closest ally Shay finds the idol. Unfortunately, can't help the two find it, and thus, the idol is public knowledge to the entire tribe. So after Blood wins immunity once again, Brianna is the easy target for Water, due to her aggressive gameplay this early on. However, the big concern to the tribe is that Shay will play her idol for her ally, so Khan begs Shay to be reasonable, and letting go of Brianna will be better for her long-term game. And at Tribal, Shay does the right thing, as she holds onto her idol, and the tribe votes out Brianna in a 9-2 vote.
Brianna, the tribe has spoken.
After not seeing his daughter at the reward challenge, David is devastated, especially since Survivor was more so Brianna's dream as opposed to his dream. After Blood wins the reward challenge, they learn that they can only send one person to the Survivor store, where that person will also get to choose one person from Water to come with them. After much debate between David and Sandra, Blood ultimately decides on David, and David chooses Khan to come with him. At the store, the two are both given their own idols, and if they are able to join the idols together at some point during the season, it would become a super idol. When the two come back to camp, Khan reveals his idol to the tribe, while David hides it, much to the tribe's suspicion. At the immunity challenge, Water wins their first immunity, sending Blood to their first tribal. The initial plan proposed by Dave is to split the votes on Sandra and Kate. However, wanting to keep a shield around, Croc tells Sandra Dave has thrown her under the bus. So, Sandra turns the tables on David and proposes to split the votes on David and Kate, as David most likely had an idol, and both their partners have been eliminated, so they wouldn't be pissing off anyone on the Water tribe. Before Tribal, David gets paranoid that there are conversations everywhere, yet nobody is talking to him, and at Tribal, he completely blows up his game, as he calls out Sam for trying to blindside him, even though Sam was actually more keen on David's plan to take out Sandra. Due to this behavior, David officially becomes a target, forcing him to play his idol, neglecting 8 votes. Sam votes for Sandra just in case Kate has an idol, but she doesn't, and is voted out in a 3-1 vote, as she was a secondary target in the split vote.
Kate, the tribe has spoken.
They have.
David apologizes for his actions at Tribal, but it's too late now, as he's a complete outcast within the tribe. However, luckily for him, there might be a bigger target emerging for the Blood tribe, and that person is Sophie, as she forms an alliance with the alpha males on Blood, in Jordan, Croc, and Ben. However, she makes it very apparent that she's the leader of this alliance, and the veteran Sandra immediately picks up on this. On the Water tribe, while Khan believes he's in the best position on the tribe, Mark believes that he is now the #1 target, due to his public idol, and that he had shown how good of a player he was far too early in the game. At the immunity challenge, Water continues their momentum, winning their second straight immunity. With David being the clear target, Sophie believes it will be an easy vote. However, Sandra and Amy put in the work to blindside Sophie and her alliance. Unfortunately, in the first twist of the season, instead of going home, Sophie will be going to the Blood tribe instead. Welcome to Australian Survivor, Sandra. With the alpha males now feeling on the outs, they actually seek advice from Sandra on how to re-ingratiate themselves into the majority to which Sandra explains that building relationships is the name of the game in Survivor. At the reward challenge, Water wins, and they get to celebrate the reward at Blood's camp. The Blood players all throw Sophie under the bus and try to convince Water that voting her out would be an easy vote for everyone in the game. Sophie then proceeded to dig her grave even deeper, as instead of reconnecting with her former tribe mates and saying fair play, she berates the likes of Jordan and Sam. Due to this terrible gameplay, Sophie's sister KJ is terrified she'll be collateral damage. In an all-time great individual challenge performance, Ben basically single-handedly wins Blood immunity, sending Water to Tribal, where it looks like Sophie will be the easy vote. However, KJ pleaded to the tribe that this would be the perfect time to take out Khan with his idol, since he would literally never see it coming, as Sophie seemed like such an obvious vote. So going into Tribal, there was much intrigue. Would they vote for Khan? Would they play it safe and vote for Sophie? How would Khan handle his idol? Either way, this should be good.
I need to leave.
All right, Alex, you've quit the game. That means we're not going to vote tonight. Your journey in this game has come to an end.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right, mate.
Well then, that was anticlimactic. Can't blame Alex for wanting to leave the game due to his back pain, as that's a serious issue. But still, think about the fans at home, Alex. We wanted a good blindside. Knowing she was at the bottom, Sophie desperately tried to make bonds with the members of the Water tribe, but nobody had the slightest of interest in working with her. At the Blood tribe, Sandra once again identifies another tight alliance in the game in Amy, David, and Jay, and wants to take out David, as she still hasn't forgotten about David throwing her name under the bus at the start of the game. Sandra also throws out Amy's name, approaching the Alpha Male Alliance, telling them that Amy wants one of them out next. However, Amy and Dave go searching for an idol, and Amy ends up finding it, and the two agree that Sandra should be the next target. After Blood loses immunity, chaos ensues. Sandra tries to get the tribe on board to split the votes on the Amy, Jay, Dave alliance, while that trio targets Sandra. Michelle tells Sandra that her name is being thrown out by Amy's alliance, and tells her that she saw Amy find the idol. So, wanting to avoid a revote, Sandra makes Amy the secondary target, with Jay being the primary target. Why she changed the target from Dave to Jay is beyond me, but at the end of the day, you can't question it, as Tribal goes to perfection for Sandra. Amy plays her idol out of paranoia, and in a 4-3 vote, Jay is blindsided, becoming the second player in Australian Survivor to go the entire season without a confessional.
Jay, the tribe has spoken.
Just unreal gameplay from Sandra here, as not only was she the central figurehead of the Blood's 3 tribal councils, but she was able to get the likes of David and the alpha males on her side when need be, despite previously blindsiding them. Unfortunately, Sandra's unreal gameplay would take a massive turn for the worse, as the tribe swap sent her from the top to the bottom. On the Blood tribe, not only was Sandra in the minority to the Water majority, but she was an obvious weak link on a tribe full of strong guys, and she was paired with their daughter. After the new Blood loses immunity, Sandra desperately tries to throw the likes of David and Mel under the bus, but in the end, Sandra was simply too big of a target. In fact, Nina's Water allies respect her so much that they can't even bear to tell her the unfortunate news that they're voting out her mom. But Nina gets wind that something's up, and at Tribal, Sandra realizes she's in trouble after Nina has a tough time saying anything. In the end, the entire tribe, including Nina, vote for Sandra, and unbelievably, Sandra is voted out on day 16 for the 3rd time. But despite her disappointing end, I think we can all agree, Sandra absolutely dominated the pre-merge and simply got screwed over by the swap. Not really much she could do about it. If this is the end for Sandra, I say she went out with a bang.
Sandra, the tribe has spoken.
I know.
Shay also played her idol at this tribal, as she felt her known idol was making her a target and wanted to get that target off her back. Nina reflects about her mom being gone, but in the end, she does realize this is best for her long-term game and immediately gets back with her old Water alliance. With Amy and Mel being the minority original Blood members and the weakest players on the tribe, they are now the main targets. At the new Water tribe, Sam feels uneasy with Sophie still in the game and plots with the rest of the tribe to take her out, as again, she would be an easy vote. At the immunity challenge, Blood 2.0 wins, sending Water 2.0 to their first tribal council as a new tribe. The plan is an easy split vote on Sophie and KJ, but Sam also wants to make Khan feel worried that he could be a target in order to flush the idol. Sophie, knowing she was in danger, looks for an idol, leaving her sister in an awkward spot, as if Sophie found an idol, she would most likely go home, leaving her to wonder if she should go down with her sister or remain loyal to her former tribe mates, as her sister was dragging her own game down. At Tribal, Khan doesn't play his idol, KJ votes for her sister, and in a 6-2-1 vote, Sophie is voted out, and this time, there is no twist to save her.
Sophie, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you. Bye, guys. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Similar to Nina, while KJ feels guilty for writing her sister's name down, she knows this is best for her long-term game. On the Blood Tribe, Amy feels vulnerable considering she's in the 6'3" minority, but luckily, the alpha males want to keep the tribe as strong as possible, hence target Mel for being the weakest. At the immunity challenge, the teams once again trade victories, as Water wins immunity. It looks to be an easy day, as Mel is the easy weakling vote. However, when Jordan tells Amy of the plan, she attempts to make a big flip in the game and turn the game around on Jordan, as she wants to break up the alpha male cousins of Josh and Jordan. But this completely backfires, as Shay rats out Amy to the majority, thus making her the new target. And at Tribal, Amy is blindsided in a 6-2-1 vote.
Amy, the tribe has spoken.
You could argue that Amy overplayed her hand here, but I loved her hard fight, and really wish she would have made the merge. Anyway, it's episode 10 now, and while the season had lost some steam after losing Sandra, it wasn't until this episode that things really took a massive nosedive. At the reward challenge, Nina injures her ankle, and unfortunately, it's serious enough to where she needs to be pulled from the game. This was absolutely deflating for the season, as Nina really had been dominating the game up until that point, and man, I would have loved to see her entire game play out. After Blood wins reward, Mark finds a clue to the idol, but Jordy sees him finding it and keeps this a secret in hopes of using this against Mark in the future. At the immunity challenge, Blood once again wins, sending Water to Tribal. The original plan is to split the vote on Michelle and Khan, but Jesse wants to pull off a big move on Ben, feeling he's the biggest threat in the game and would be dangerous to let get to the merge. But at Tribal, the Blood Tribe sits in the watch, and Water had to immediately vote without any talking. In a 5-2-1 vote, Ben receives the majority. However, it's then revealed that the Blood Tribe will now vote between the three people who received votes, and the person with the majority would join their tribe. With Ben just being blindsided and Khan of course having an idol, everyone other than Shay votes to kidnap the least threatening of the three in KJ. After the kidnap, KJ feels more at home and immediately aligns with the boys club, while Shay feels like an outcast on her tribe, considering they didn't even try to save her partner Ben. On the Water Tribe, knowing for sure he was at the bottom now, Ben had nothing to lose, and paints Chrissy and Croc as a potential power duo. I should add that Croc had also found an idol at this point, so there was some truth to what Ben was saying. But Jesse firmly believes they can't let Ben get to the merge, especially after already voting him out, and suggests to throw the challenge. And at the immunity, Water does indeed honor Jesse's wishes, and they throw the challenge to finish the job on Ben. However, Croc, who had been close to Ben throughout the game, decided to save him and flip the vote on Jesse. But Ben used this information to flip the game on Croc, and told Jesse that Croc had threw his name under the bus. At Tribal, Sam and Jesse get Michelle on board to go with Ben's plan, and they blindside Croc in a 4-2-1 vote, sending him home with an idol in his pocket and leaving Chrissy feeling completely alone.
Croc, the tribe has spoken.
It has.
After pulling off a massive blindside, Ben feels good about his new position in the tribe, but his partner Shay still feels betrayed by her tribe, making her the easy target on Blood. In a twist, the tribes aren't competing against each other at the immunity challenge. They are actually competing as individuals, with the winner of the challenge from each tribe earning immunity. Khan wins for Water, and Shay pulls off a clutch win to earn the Blood's immunity necklace. But despite winning, Khan gives his immunity to Sam after she passed out during the challenge, and wanted to prove his loyalty to her. At Tribal, the strong guys on Blood vote for Mel as the new easy vote, while Jesse, Michelle, and Sam flip on Ben once again, giving him the majority vote for Water. However, the two weren't gone yet, as they would face off in a fire-making challenge, with the loser being the only one going home that night. Mel, who had literally yet to have a confessional by this point, pulled off a thrilling fire-making challenge victory, just edging out Ben, officially sending him home and putting an end to the pre-merge.
Ben, the tribe has spoken.
The tribes merge on day 25 and compete in a reward challenge. For possibly the greatest reward prize ever, the players compete for $60,000. Remember, only the winner of AU Survivor gets money, so this was the only chance any other contestant could make money. Khan would be the one to win it, painting his target even further, as this was his second consecutive individual challenge win. Due to his challenge dominance and public idol, he becomes the target for the Blood Strong Guys Alliance. We then get an awkward moment where Sam learns about Mark's idol from Jordy, as Mark finally told Jordy of his idol, but had yet to tell his freaking wife well into the first day of the merge. At the immunity challenge, Jesse wins, giving the majority alliance plenty of options. And I guess I should add at this point that the main majority is the three strong pairs of Mark and Sam, Jordan and Josh, and Jesse and Jordy, with Dave and Chrissy also tight with these pairs. These 8 call themselves the committee. Oh boy. Sam wants to target Shay as an easy vote, but Mark and the other guys are adamant about taking out Khan. And at Tribal, with no other choice, Sam sticks with the split vote plan on Khan and Mel, with Khan ultimately getting voted out with an idol in his pocket.
Khan. The tribe has spoken.
Love you guys.
It's episode 14 now, and the target for the majority is Shay, but she clutches up to win immunity. So, the new easy target becomes the twins, Mel and Michelle, who had a combined 5 confessionals at this point in the season. No, I'm not kidding. This episode is painfully boring, as it's an easy split vote on 2 all-time under-edited players, with Mel ultimately being the one to get the boot.
Mel, the tribe has spoken.
While episode 14 is arguably the worst episode of the season, episode 15 makes up for it, and is really the turning point for Mark and Sam's game. After the pair of Chrissy and Jordy win reward, they elect to bring Mark, Josh, and of course Jesse with them. Knowing there would most likely be a clue for the idol at the reward, Jordy finds it, and secretly gives it to his brother. I should also add that at this point, the pairs of Jesse and Jordy, and Josh and Jordan were now gunning for each other, as each pair saw the other one as threatening to the committee alliance. Mark trusted Josh and Jordan more, but Sam's closest ally the entire game other than Mark had been Jesse, and she was more willing to work with the brothers. And at the immediate challenge, Sam's decision becomes even more complicated, as Jordy wins, leaving Jesse as the target for the committee. Jesse, sensing he was in danger, searched for the idol and found it, but Sam caught him looking for it. She then suggests that he should give her the idol, as she could hide it better when the two return to camp, as the idol would most likely poke out of Jesse's shorts. Jesse agrees and gives his idol to Sam. At Tribal, in one of the most ruthless moves in Australian Survivor history, if not all of Survivor history, Sam no longer had a problem in blindsiding Jesse, as she now had his idol, giving her and Mark 2 idols to work with.
Jesse, the tribe has spoken.
It has.
You played well, bro. You played really well, guys. Good work, man.
Jordy is devastated at his brother's blindside and vows to get revenge, and tries to rally the singles together against the final 2 pairs. Unfortunately, Dave and Chrissy aren't budging, with Dave literally telling Jordy this, leaving him and the fans extremely frustrated. Luckily for Jordy, he does win immunity, but in the end, his plan to make a big move goes nowhere, as Shay is voted out. However, she's not yet eliminated, as we are then introduced to Purgatory, aka a cooler way to say Redemption Island. There's been some bad episodes up until this point, but in my opinion, the stretch of Purgatory episodes were easily the worst, so I'm going to sum up these episodes as quickly as I can. Jordy continues to rally the singles together to no avail, and calls himself the Joker about 72,000 times. He and KJ are then voted out in a double elimination tribal. The next episode, Sam and Mark talk about how powerful they are for 55 minutes, with Michelle being the next to go. The Purgatory members make an alliance, and unbelievably, 3 of them will re-enter the game in a comeback duel. Jordy, Shay, and KJ beat out Michelle, officially eliminating her from the game. Yes, 3 episodes and 4 eliminations, all for a Michelle boot. Good God almighty. Despite the unfairness of the Purgatory twist, it does make for a fairly decent endgame. With the Purgatory 3 now fully working with each other, KJ unknowingly finds an important advantage at the Survivor auction after simply bidding for some tea. She then finds her advantage back at camp, with the advantage being that she can send 3 people back to camp during Tribal. And at Tribal, KJ and the Purgatory 3 play it absolutely perfectly, as they send Josh, Mark, and Chrissy back to camp, giving Dave no choice but to flip to the Purgatory 3, as there was no way he could even think about a rock draw at this point. The Purgatory Alliance voted for Jordan instead of Sam, as they were scared of her playing the idol, but she actually left her idol with Mark, as that was their plan, which played a massive role in the following episode. Speaking of that episode, episode 20 begins with Josh furious to see his cousin gone, and now of course Sam and Mark were the only pair left in the game. This already made them threatening, but the fact that Mark still had a public idol made them even more threatening. However, none of the players believed that Sam also had an idol. You see, Jordy tried to tell them that Mark and Sam both had an idol, as Jesse told them this on the way out, but the players didn't buy it, much to the frustration of Jordy and the fans at home. So obviously the two could play one idol and still have another one to work with, but again, they felt that one of them having 2 idols this late into the game would be the better option. And at Tribal, with Mark immune, Sam is the target for the Purgatory 3, who now officially have Dave on their side. In an attempt to save his alliance and get the idol out, Josh votes for Sam as well and begs her to play the idol, but Mark holds on to both idols, sending Sam to the jury in a 5-3 vote.
Sam, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you.
Sam truly was the star of this season, as she dominated the season despite so many unfair twists messing with her plans, and is the absolute epitome of a pre-merger with potential, taking advantage of their second chance. So with Sam gone, there are officially no more couples in the game, but everyone is still eyeing Mark for his public idol, At the reward challenge, Shay cuts a deal with Josh and Jordy to take them with her on reward, after originally promising the same thing to KJ and Chrissy. At their reward, the three cut a deal to take out Mark, and Jordy believes in Josh so much that the Purgatory 3 feel that having Josh and Chrissy on board to split the votes on Mark and David is the best option. Josh wins immunity, putting the split vote plan into action. Dave is convinced that the split vote is between Mark and Jordy, as he believes Jordy is a much bigger threat than him. And Chrissy also feels that Jordy might be a better option for the split vote. However, at Tribal, the five do in fact split their votes on Mark and David, with Mark playing as idol and David getting the majority on the revote, much to his shock.
Dave, the tribe has spoken.
Same side.
Episode 22 now, and our episode with so many dynamics and excitement as we approach this endgame. Yet, the editors didn't give Shay or KJ one confessional the entire episode. Josh once again wins immunity, which puts him in a tough spot, as he had pledged his allegiance to both Jordy and Mark, as both of them were massive shields for Josh as the endgame approached. In a super anticlimactic tribal, Mark makes a big scene about finally playing Jesse's original idol, only for him to not receive any votes. Not only was it bad enough that the biggest storyline of the post-merge had essentially no payoff, but we got no reason as to why Shay and KJ flipped on Jordy here, since again, they were invisible this episode. But yes, Jordy was the unanimous boot here, thus eliminating the last true fan favorite from the game.
The tribe has spoken.
Sam.
The final five reflect on their journey before facing off against each other for immunity. Shay knew she was the target and had to win, and she does just that, securing her third individual immunity. The majority three of Josh, Mark, and Chrissy plan to vote out KJ, but KJ and Shay desperately try to get Chrissy on board to form an all-girls final three. Getting nervous that Chrissy will flip on him, Mark tries to save himself by approaching Shay and KJ with a plan to vote for Josh, and they buy this completely. However, this would turn out to be a big-time mistake. At Tribal, Chrissy does indeed flip on Mark, but since she didn't make this clear to Shay and KJ, they voted for Josh instead, thinking Mark was with them. However, this was all an act, as Mark and Josh were solid and put their votes on KJ, resulting in a 2-2-1 vote. And on the revote, not winning the flip on her closest ally, Chrissy sides with Josh and Mark, eliminating KJ.
KJ,
Yeah.
the tribe has spoken.
Very happy.
It's the finale now, and for the first time ever in Australian Survivor, the final immunity challenge will take place at the final four, meaning this season will be a final three. Shay unsurprisingly wins the endurance challenge, securing herself a spot in the final three. Josh and Mark once again try to play sneaky and plan to vote for Chrissy. However, Josh was simply too big of a jury threat, with Mark, Shay, and even Josh's closest ally, Chrissy, unanimously voting him out, making Josh the final member of the jury.
Josh, the tribe has spoken.
I have mine.
Chrissy, Mark, and Shay then face off against the jury of 10. Shay really tanks here, as she rates her game an 8.5 out of 10, and Chrissy can't hide how clueless she was all game. Due to this, Mark receives all 10 votes, as the jury was impressed by his dominance and the ability to hide the second idol, earning the title of sole survivor of Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water.
Winner of Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water.
So there you have it, guys, Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water in 23 minutes. If you like this video and Survivor in general, then please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as I put a ton of work into this video. And of course, I'm currently doing an in blank minutes video for all US Survivor seasons, with some other fun Survivor content to go along with it. So there's no better time than now to join the fun on my channel. With all that said, thanks once again, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.